Hello and welcome to another episode of Fly or Die. I'm John Biggs.
I'm Jordan Crook.
Today we're talking about the Kindle Fire HDX 8.9 edition. So we already did the 7.0 edition, which is
slightly smaller.
That's smaller.
It's like this much smaller.
This is their Kindle Fire HDX for people who want a bigger screen. What do you think?
I think we already did this. I think that it is the same as the 7.
So
no?
For all intents and purposes, it is the exact same thing. It's $379 for the 16 gig. Goes up from there. You have.
It's got a slightly stronger processor, right? It's quad-core 2.2 gigahertz, so that's up from the 7-inch.
You have 12 hours battery. It's 7.8 millimeters. It's much thinner than the original 7-inch, so it's So it's slightly thinner. The battery is more spread out, obviously, and it's 13 ounces.
It's super thin and light. I like that a lot about it.
Compared to like even the iPad Air, it's on par with that. A little bit lighter.
It's a little bit lighter, yeah.
It's all plastic, so it's a little bit cheaper as well.
It's got a nice display, right?
I don't know who this is for. I really don't. I think this is for, I guess this is for an older audience who needs bigger screen, bigger font.
Yeah, I think so, and just prefers like the movie, maybe watches a little bit more movies than just sticking to reading. You know, you want the bigger display for that. It's a solid, it's a good buy. I think that if you're gonna go for a Kindle, I always want the smaller to really hold in one hand and do my reading in bed or whatever. But that's not to say that this isn't a great device, especially I think if you prefer movies or you want the bigger text, more screen real estate. Yeah,
so if you're buying this for yourself, I would recommend maybe the 7-inch for just like a tech-savvy user, because it's much smaller, it's much lighter, much more compact. If you're buying this for grandma or grandpa or your mom or whoever else, and they want a bigger screen so they can play their games and all that other good stuff on there, then I think this is fine. At $379, I would say this is one of the best Android tablets I've used, of all the Android tablets. And it's funny to say that because it's Fire OS, quote unquote.
Yeah, it's not even Android.
This is essentially Android. So,
but it just, I mean, the thing about it is you can't really use this as a tablet, right? That's not how. It's a reader on steroids.
I would argue that at this point you can use these things as tablets. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can take notes. You can.
So you feel comfortable doing email on this?
Yeah, the email client's actually really good. It works well, and it is a reader on steroids, and I would agree that it's a reader on steroids. But the improvements here are the speed is amazing, and
Fire's also, or Amazon's also coming up with better and better software for these things too, right? Like all this Whisper Sync stuff, and I mean
you have your Mayday, which you can actually call Amazon, and they can walk you through some stuff. Fly or die, this specific form factor?
I'll give it a fly. I think that Amazon is really chiseling down its Fire products, and they get better and better. This is clearly an upgrade from the last generation, so I give it a fly.
So I would give it, I don't know. I would not recommend this if I'm talking to a.
You want them to buy the 7-inch,
I think
right?
the 7-inch is far superior in terms of form factor.
So what if you're making a decision between this and the iPad Air?
This is the iPad Air. That's a whole different question.
Right? I mean, the iPad Air is like $100 more, right?
It is $100 more. It's a little more powerful. It has a lot more apps. This is a productivity device at this point. You can take this into work. You can actually do productive things with it. You can. It's crazy, but the Silk browser is amazing. The email client works. Calendar works. There are some issues with syncing and all that other good stuff. It's not exactly there, but it's still a device that you can use to be productive with. It's probably one of the best non-iOS tablets I've ever used.
Okay.
So I'm giving HDX in general a fly, obviously, but I'm not exactly sure that I want to give this guy a fly simply because I think a 7-inch device is going to be more useful. So we have one fly, one die. This is the Kindle HDX 8.9 edition. I'm John Biggs.
I'm Jordan Crook.
And this has been Fly or Die. Thanks for watching.